Welcome back, everybody. Mark here, and I wanted to run through a pretty quick little video tonight. Kind of a neat thing that I think you guys will find useful. I find it super useful. And basically, we're going to use a subroutine to basically build an event handler so we don't have to have like a bunch of branch labels throughout our code. We can have one event and reduce our code size using a subroutine. So I've got a simple little program that we're going to run through and we're going to build. We're going to just build it as we go here. And so I'm just going to call this program event handler. So event handler. And so we're going to be working with within Windows. So we're going to have no main window. And then we'll put in some global variables. I like to comment in my code quite a bit, so we'll do global. And what's nice is that using Sublime, I have another video if you guys want to see how to set up this editor that includes the files, but this is the Sublime text editor. And you can see it allows me to do all my Liberty Basic programming. I find it very useful. I love this program. I definitely recommend it to you guys. If you haven't seen that video, I would definitely head on over and check it out. So we're going to have two variables. And basically, we're going to have text1 and text2. Not text. Hopefully I can type correctly throughout the night. And then we're going to go ahead and I'm going to initialize the variables. And you guys will see that I do a lot of commenting. It's just common for me. Initialize variables. These I can't even type tonight. It's terrible. All right. So, and basically text1 is basically going to be initialized to this string, which is the rabbit runs. And then text2 will be really fast! Exclamation. We'll throw a 3 in there. So text1, text2, and we're going to use this a little bit later in our program. And what we're going to do is we're going to build it with branch labels first, so you guys can see how you'd have to build it with branch labels. And then we'll take the branch label part of it and we'll turn it into the subroutine for the event handler. So now we got to build our window. Let me go back up here. And so I'll just do Windows, size, and position. And so we'll do a window width. So our window width is, let's do 800. Our window height will be 600. IntelliSense will come in handy. Those are the suggestions that keep popping up. That's the IntelliSense. It works great when you're coding, especially when you're looking for variables. So we'll have our upper left X equal. This is where it becomes, it'll come in useful because we already have our window width. So you'll see I can select it, hit enter. Now I have my window width. So it does save on quite a bit of typing. And then our upper left Y. And so basically this is going to go ahead and put the window in the center of our screen. And you can see the IntelliSense is also adding the extra brackets for us as well. So it really does save a lot of time. Okay, so this is going to be the display. Yeah, display height. There we go. So our display width height, so that's going to center our screen for us. And then we're going to, first we're going to basically build our window. So we'll open up our new window, open, and we'll call it Event Handler. That's the name of our window, so when we open it, that's the name that'll be in the upper right-hand corner. And so we're going to open Event Handler for window NF, which is no frame, as, and every window needs a handle, we'll call it event. So that'll open our window. Now we have to trap our close, so when we hit the X in the upper right hand corner. So let's go ahead and trap that. So this will be the handle to our window, which is event. And then this will be trap close. And what I like to do a lot of times is I'll do like event.quit. I've seen people do quit, but I like to have the window name in there so I know which window I'm closing. And then we'll throw a wait in there. And then we gotta just do the close, so which it is event.quit. And then basically this is ending our program, so we'll close the window, so close the window handle, and then end. That's the end of our program. So now we have our window. So let's go ahead and save and run this. Uh-oh. I already see what I did. Capital E, lowercase e. There we go, event. Should be good to go now. Save, run. Now what? Forgot the E on the trap close. There we go. Now it opens. Here's our window, and here's the name that we put. So event handler, that's in the upper left-hand corner. And if we close it, it traps it and closes our window. So our window is built. Do a little troubleshooting as we go. So now let's give some controls into our window. And so one of the first control is going to be a button. So we're going to have a button, and we have to use our window handle so our button shows up on that window. We're going to call it .btn1. That's the name of our button, button 1. And then we have to basically assign some text to be on the button. So we'll say button 1. That's the text that will show up on the button. And then we got to go ahead and have our branch label. So we'll say BTN1. So that's the branch label for our button. And then we'll say in the upper left-hand corner is where we'll place it. So upper left. And so 10, 10. We'll do 75 wide by 25 high. So if we run this, this will show us our button. If I were to click this, we're going to get an error because we didn't do anything with the branch label, but there's our button. I don't know if I like the text on there, so let's go ahead and change the font of our program. So event. And what font do we want to do? I guess I've used this one before, so let's say font. It's going to be AR. And it's going to be Destine. And then we'll do bolds 916. There we go. So now if we run that, it looks a little better. We can see it better. It's larger on the screen, has nice visibility. So then let's go ahead and add our text box. So text box. And then same thing, we got to have the handle to our window. And we'll just say TXT1. So we're talking to text box 1. I try to keep these well organized. And then basically, we're going to want this to be over farther. So we're already at 10. And so the button's 75 wide, so that's at 85, and maybe we want 5 pixels in between, so 90. So we'll do 90, and then it'll be down the same distance, so it's in line with our button. I don't want a space there. 10. And we'll do, let's just do really wide, like 450 by 25. Let's see what that looks like. Save, run. It's a pretty nice text box. We could type in here. Gets our font. But we're going to have it actually assign something with this event handler. So right underneath our wait, because we have the wait here, that way it doesn't crash down through. We want our program to stop until we do something. We want it to wait for us. So but right below here, let's go ahead and put this branch label btn1. Like I said, this is the old way to do it, but I want to build it. So right away I'm going to add my wait, that way I don't forget it. And basically, if we click button 1, let's assign the text box, so the handle to our window event .txt1, see IntelliSense is great. And then we'll say text 1, remember the text that the variable text. We're going to actually take that information when we click button 1 and put it in that text box. So that should go ahead and do that for us. So if we run this, click button 1, the rabbit runs. Because that's what we use for this variable right here, is the rabbit runs. You guys see. So we assign the text that. So if we wanted to finish building this out, which we will, so let's go ahead and just finish building it out. So basically we have our second button, and this is button 2. You guys can see I'm going to follow a real simple theme with this, just for clarity. Then we'll upper left, and then we're going to do the same thing with this one. Still be over 10, but we'll be down 40. That'll give us our 5 spaces. It'll be 75, 25, and let's go ahead and add one more button. And this will be button 3, so we'll just do 3 buttons total. Like I said, I really like IntelliSense. If you guys get used to using IntelliSense, you'll see it just speeds up your coding quite a bit. You guess. There's less chance of mistakes because you guess less. You don't have to guess, okay, is it this variable? What did I name it? I find myself scrolling a lot less. So over 10, down 70, and then 75, 756, 75, 25. So that's our button. So now let's go ahead and add 2 more text boxes. So this is going to be text 2, and this is going to be 90. And we know how far this is going to be down because of our second button, so 40. And then it'll be 450 and 25. And then our last text box, which is going to be txt3, 90, down 70, and then 450, 25. So we have all of our text boxes. So now what we need to go ahead and do is add the rest of our event handlers, button 2 and button 3. So button 2. Like I said, what I want to do right away is I always add my wait, that way I don't forget it. And I always do spaces in between my branch labels. Once again, keep it nice and clean. I want to keep everything very well organized. So I try to keep it nice. It's a simple program. What, 44 lines so far. Less than that if you take out the blank spaces. But okay, button 2, we're going to say, okay, let's take that text for our second text string that we assign. So txt2, and let's assign it, text2. Don't forget the $sign, that means string. So that, because we're working with string data here. So if we save this and run this right now, button 1, the rabbit runs, button 2, really fast. And what we're going to do for the third button is let's go ahead and add those two strings together. So event and text box 3, so txt3 is going to be text 1 plus, and let's put this little space in here. So text 1, excuse me, text 1 plus a space plus text 2 is what we're going to assign to our third text box, which will be the entire sentence, the rabbit runs really fast. So if I save and I run this, button 1, the rabbit runs, button 2, really fast, and button 3, the rabbit runs really fast. So we had to use 3 branch labels to accomplish this. Now what we can do is we can actually change out those branch labels for a subroutine, which will be like our button event handler. So it'll handle the button click. And that's why we call it an event handler. We handle the click event. So let's go ahead and close this, and let's go ahead and change this. So remember, all functions and subroutines should be at the end of our program. So I'll put those here, and I'll just call this subroutines for simplicity. And what do we want to go ahead and call this? Let's say let's call it a button event, all one word, handler. Remember, upper and lower case does matter. And then we're going to pass this a handle. This is going to be string data, handle, and then we'll say end sub. And what we'll do is we'll copy this button event handler, and we're going to go right here where our call to our branch labels are, and we're going to paste over that and add in the button event handler. So basically, we're going to have one routine that handles our button click. We could have this for all of our buttons in this program. And so now what we can do is comment out all of these branch labels. And so let's go ahead and comment those. Now they're commented out. We don't need them anymore, because we're going to have this one subroutine that handles all of this. So the first thing we need to do is we need to say, okay, I need to get the handle to the button I clicked. So all I really want to gather is the name btn1. So button 1, I want that as a string. And to do that, in the subroutine, we're going to have a variable. All right, let's go here, and we're going to call this, button handle. And it's going to be a string. We're looking for string data. So button handle equals, and we're going to use a built-in function called word. And basically, the first thing we're saying, okay, what are we passing in? We're passing in handle. So we passing that in. That's coming from our subroutine. So we're passing whatever button we click. So button 1 gets passed to handle. So that's what we're looking at here, handle. And actually, just so you guys know, it's actually passing in this entire handle. It's passing in event.button1. But what we're going to do is go ahead and get the second word, and we're going to go ahead and provide a delimiter. Basically, we're looking for what separates those two words, and in this case, it's the period. So the second word after that period is what we're looking for, which is going to be btn1. So that's that built-in function. So now we can go ahead and say, okay, let's select case. And the case we need to select is going to be our but handle, so whatever that equals to. And then I'll do end case, or end select, excuse me. That way the entire thing is there. And let me get rid of that space. Clean up code. So case, we can look for btn1. We can look for case btn2. And we can look for case btn3. So those are our three cases. And all we can do is we can copy our data from up here that we commented out. So now we say, okay, if I click on button 1, I want to assign the text to the text box 1. If I click on button 2, I want to assign the text to text box 2. And if I click on button 3, I want to assign the text 1 and 2 to text box 3. So the same we got before with the branch labels, but now we're going to use a subroutine, which to me is quite a bit cleaner. You have fewer branch labels and a nice clean subroutine. So you could keep adding button presses to this and have each case handle even more. So now if I save and I run this, if I click button 1, nothing's happening, and let me go and see why. Because I guarantee you I screwed something up. Not screwed it up, but that's butt handle, so those are the same. That's handle. Event handler. What did I do? So let's go ahead and see. You guys see what I did? I see what I did. These are all lowercase, upper and lowercase. So when I was typing, I did uppercase. So once again, that's my fault. I should have looked at my IntelliSense a little bit more. It's kind of in the zone. Save. I haven't purchased a copy of this yet. I'm probably going to at some point, but you can still use it unregistered. So now button 1, the rabbit runs. Button 2, really fast. Press button 3, the rabbit runs really fast. Same result, but using the event handler in this subroutine. So I find it really useful. I kind of wish I had learned how to do this a lot sooner, because I have quite a few different programs that are very button intensive, that I could have reduced a lot of complexity of branch labels by getting rid of the branch labels and going to a nice subroutine, just because of how many things I had to click on. So imagine up and down arrows. You could basically have one subroutine that handles how up and down arrows work in your program if you're using those controls. So you can really use them for so many different things. But I just thought I'd show you guys how to create a subroutine button event handler, how to use it with a button. You can use it with any other kind of control, a bitmap button. Like I said, up and down arrows. You can do all kinds of things. So where you normally use a branch label, you can go ahead and use an event handler or a subroutine event handler. But I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, please hit the thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video, guys.